Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are so glad to have you here for the special Decode Age webinar. Today's conversation is about understanding aging in a new way, not just as the passing of years, but through the lens of brain health, stress, recovery, mental well being. Because many things we assume is just age may actually be signals from our brain asking for better support. And to guide us through this conversation, we have the perfect guest with us today, Dr. Gargi Das Gupta. Dr. Gargi is the founder of I Can Be Me, a psychologist, clinical supervisor, professor, a member of ICEFT. With 20 years of experience, she has worked closely with individuals, families, on stress, relationship, and emotional well-being, with strong focus on resilience, longevity, and healthy aging. Can't think of a better person to lead this today's session with Dr. Gargi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks a lot for such a lovely welcome. I'm really looking forward to have a meaningful discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Gargi, I think your voice is a little low.
I think, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. I was speaking low, so it's always there. Whenever I listen to my introduction, I automatically go low. But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
If we, I think we are already few minutes late, so I think we should quickly dive into the conversation. And the first question that I want to ask is, I was going through your profile, and it's clear you have worked across psychology, therapy, and teaching behavioral science as well. So, for people meeting you for the first time today, how did that journey lead you into the space of longevity and healthy aging?
Oh, that's such a very nice and a very personal questions. So yeah, it's been a long, I mean, it's a long journey. It's my career, the career struggles, the relationship hassles, and everything was there. We are all running it, we are all normalizing it. But one thing which actually moves me here, which is basically a very personal story, it was actually about my mother. So my mom was a very, very active, those superwoman syndrome, which was normalized. Like she was everything, doing everywhere and all. And we were all like idolizing her, like, I want to be like that. And I actually won't happen.
Yeah.
And she was perfectly all right. But after 60, after her retirement, within 2 years, she has been diagnosed with a very terminal illness. And we were all kind of shocked, like what actually happened. And then, diagnosis and everything was kind of figured out that it was cumulative stress for years and years and years, which was always unnoticed. If there was brain fog, focus happened, we were like, normalizing, okay, menopause, something happened, poor judgment was like, yeah, you are getting old. So
Yeah.
after that thing happened, I figured out, no, this is something more. We should actually add more life to her ages. And that kind of pushed me to figure out, oh, let me do something about it.
Yeah, what a beautiful story actually you have shared, and I think most people here would agree to this that until and unless something happens in our family, we don't, or happens to us, we don't
Yes.
actually think about healthy aging. Even on that note, that people believe that aging is simply about growing older every year, and you challenge that idea. So, what made you start looking into aging through the lens of brain, emotions, and lifestyle instead of just time?
Uh, in my clinic, I regularly meet people in their 30s who tells me like I feel mentally exhausted, I'm losing my focus, I can't focus, I'm having brain fog, maybe it is menopause, maybe I'm getting old, and at the same time I'm meeting probably a 50 years or a 55 or a 60 years for that matter who said, oh, Gargi, I have learned a new things today. I have started a new hobby. I'm just, living my life mentally. I'm feeling so mentally alive. So the question comes like, is it actually aging or there is something else related to it? Like, how is it? Is it actually my days or body, or it is how the brain functioning. Now here comes a very interesting fact. Like the brain is basically average human brain is around 3 pounds, which is around 2% of our body weight, which actually consumes 25% of the energy and as much around 40% of the oxygen at time, which actually tells that it is most active organ in our body, and which actually generally have 86 billions of neural connections and over 1 trillions of potential connections. So it is the most active in our body, most active organ and adaptive organ in biology. So that actually helps me to understand that, okay, then you can change it, like, and the change lies in your hand. Maybe it is 9 or 90. So that's kinds of pushes me saying that, okay, how this change can be incorporated. Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, if we before we get deeper into this, and I wanted to understand the key idea you often speak about, like what exactly is cognitive age, and how can it be very different from someone's biological age, or what we call the, ID card age or something.
Now, there is basically three concepts. One is your chronological age, one is your biological age, is one is probably what we talk about in neuroscience terminology, which is called a cognitive age. Now, actual age is my Aadhaar card ID. Like if I'm born in 1986, today I'm 40 years old, right? The
Yeah,
age, the numbers.
yeah.
The biological age is basically the age of your cells, which basically your organs, which basically defined by your lifestyle, genetics, healthy habits, and etc. Along with that, there which something which we generally get overlooked is basically the cognitive age. The cognitive age basically mentally how you feel, your brain feel, like not your calendar age. It's reflects how well your brain think, function, focus, remembers, and regulate emotions regardless of your life. So cognitive age actually reflect how your brain can process information, stay focused, remember things, and adapt to new situations. So people can both at the age of 50 years old, and one might have, very high focused, very adaptable, open for change. At the same time, people at 40 years may not have that. So there is a difference between cognitive age and your chronological age or actual age.
Okay, so even you spoke about it slightly that there are like 30, 40-year-olds who say that, they're mentally fatigued and exhausted, and brain fog is a thing that being discussed nowadays. So are these always signs of aging, or we are sometimes like misreading or overloaded, and just we don't know how to process this?
Uh, Absolutely not. Basically, when when we talk about aging, now aging doesn't start after you reach a certain point, right? So we may
Hmm.
visibly notice certain things and all this thing, but your brain aging can start as early as in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Now, when your brain is actually the question is whether your brain is aged or it is overworked. So when you
Yeah.
are not actually recovering, when you are not giving the brain that conducive environment, brain is a very resilient organ. Brain is a very plastic organ. It just wants you to
Hmm.
give that environment where it can thrive well. So if you constantly reworked, neurobiologically overloaded, it will show those symptoms, but those are actually not aging symptoms, but actually those are general brain aging which we can see probably 60s and 70s, but at 20s and 30s and 40s, when your physiological age is not as your 60s or your geriatric age, those symptoms may linked with your overwork or neurobiologically overloaded brain
Hmm.
which is not recovered well.
Okay, so since you have used the phrase neurobiological overload quite often, like multiple times on the call today, so I just wanted to understand, like, what does that means, like in a simple term, and how does it show up in everyday life?
Now, neurobiologically overloaded can happen at any age and can manifest as lack of focus, brain fog, lack of energy, racing thoughts, irritability, sleep disturbance, difficulty in concentration, and later stages of life as pathological condition like various types of dementias. Now, modern neurosciences shows that chronological age does not predict your cognitive function well. Now, instead, lifestyle, stress, social connection, sleep, and various other factors are very strong protector of how your brain actually age. And this neurobiological overload is actually, as I have said, how chronic stress and various other functionalities where you are not providing a healthy environment for your brain, how your brain is getting overloaded. And most of the time it is invisible. Let's say I mean, it's my dermatology, it's my skin. I'm constantly, slapping on my skin. After a while, it get bruised. So you can notice it. You will take care of it. Oh gosh, what happened? But constantly you are putting pressure on your brain, you are not noticing it, you are invisible,
Yeah.
you are adding it for something else. Oh, I'm overstressed, oh, I'm not getting sleep. But this is actually overloading, overworking of your brain. You are not giving it time to rewire and recover. So that what is called overloading, which is most of the cases invisible, and later point of time it gets into pathological symptoms like your dementias and all other stuffs.
Yeah, so we will get into dementia and such diseases because we have received a lot of question on that. But I just wanted to ask that we are at a stage in our life that we are talking about mental health, we are talking about depression and anxiety and all the major stressors. So I just wanted to understand like. Is all these issues actually speeding up aging in our brain and hence in our body as well? And if yes, then how can we slow down a bit?
Oh, big time. Like you really touched the my one of my favorite subject. So research shows that chronic stress and mental overload can actually impact your memory function, your attention span, your processing speed, efficiency, and overall your brain health. Now, in fact, prolonged stress directly linked with the changes or structural changes in areas like hippocampus, which is critical for your memory, and prefrontal cortex, which helps us to think, plan, and focus, basically your executive functions. Okay, I think it gets a bit technical. Let me give you a very clear story. Let's say your brain has two cities. City A is your memory and learning, which is hippocampus, and city B is your prefrontal cortex, which is executive control. Now what happened in case of chronic is the structural changes, the neural connections, the pathways, let's say the highway between these things, this gets shrinked. Now the no new neurons are not developing, so high the connections between them are not efficiently maintained. So your when body is under chronic stress, when there is cortisols, so these amygdalas get shrinked, the fear and anxiety center gets act upon, so you feel more anxious, you are constantly on the loop, you are constantly, your sympathetic mode is on, you are not letting it recover. What we talk about a parasympathetic mode, it's like you are constantly running a car which is pressing your accelerator but not putting your brakes on. So burnout will happen, and the burnout will happen in your brain. So stress is not actually soft psychology, it is hard neuroscience, and it is very evidence based. We can see the neuroimaging and can figure out, okay, there are spots, there are all these things. So it's just not that, okay, I am having stress and normalizing it. No, it has an impact.
Okay, so I want to mention this that you have said that our brain is highly adaptive. So if someone has joined today's call thinking that okay, this is stress, depression, and everything is, we all understand that this is happening to our body, but we do want to work on it, right? So if someone has spent years in the stress mode, and how much recovery is realistically possible for that person?
It is possible because the brain is highly adaptive and substantial, and
Hmm.
in many cases, near full recovery is possible. Now, even after years of chronic stress, though it requires consistent effort, time, and all, and it's a very long time, slow process. Like chronic stress, as I've said, that chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, expands the amygdala, essentially rewired the brains for hypervigilance. But the good news is that these structural changes can be reversible. they are not
Hmm.
generally permanent. Some changes are reversible, but again, I'm not saying all. Obviously, some changes are reversible when the chronic stress is reduced. You provide a healthy environment for the brain. The hippocampus can show, dendritic growth, synaptics rewiring, partial restoration, and the spatial memories and cognitive function over weeks to months. Then there are mindfulness, there are monofocus activities, therapy, exercises, proper nutrition. This shows regrowths of neurons, and the hippocampus can become more better, and the amygdala can calm. And even people, we can see that, okay, there are a lot of recovery can happen even with people with PTSDs and all this thing. In
Hmm.
most cases, research has shown that older adults who adopt good sleeps, exercises, nutritions, and complex activities, yeah, and they develop stress management activities, make more social connections. They actually show a cognitive score of 5 to 10 years younger than their sedentary peers.
So, as mentioned previously, the thing is that a lot of people during the registration of this call has asked about dementia, and that this is something that's people's biggest fear is that many people worry about dementia that's run in the family. If someone has a parent who's close relative with dementia, so how much of that is genetics versus the lifestyle?
There is not a predecessor like, okay, if my I have a dementia in my family, the children will also always have a dementia, but
Hmm.
there is a risk factor always there. But
Yeah.
with adoption of healthy lifestyle and the dementia preventing factors, the proper assessments, early recovery signs, and and assessments, this can be prevented. But this is not that, okay, if my parents have a dementia, 100% I'll get dementia. But yes, there are certain genes which increase the risk, they increase
Hmm.
the susceptibility. There is always a comorbidity, but there is possibility to not to get that also by opting those healthy habits and whatever we develop, like brain healthy habits.
Right. On that note, since you spoke about healthy habits a lot, and you have also mentioned cognitive reserve. So, could you explain what it means and how people can start building it now
uh
if they have to
Cognitive,
start somewhere? So,
I didn't get you. What was
yes.
that? I was.
So, my question was that you have spoken about cognitive reserve, right?
Yeah.
So, if somebody has to start now healthy plan or do the cognitive reserve, what, like, first of all, explain what it is and how can they start with it?
So, cognitive reserve is basically your brain's ability to improvise, adapt, and find alternate neural pathways to maintain function and even restore when damages happen. Like, damages
Okay.
happen because of pathology or because of diseases. So, it
Hmm.
is built through lifelong learning, education, complex work, mentally stimulating activities, nutrition. Very, very importantly, sleep habits, sleep hygiene, and all other activities, exercises. Like cognitive reserve is your brain backup capacity to keep
Okay.
working well even when there is some damage like aging. It's like your financial reserve, like something went
Huh.
off, so you just in cash on that. So it's like that. So, and but modern neuroscience says that cognitive decline can happen in as early as your 20s and 30s. So that actually
Okay.
your cognitive reserves help, so that how well you are treating your brain with purposeful, meaningful, creative, complex activities, and how you are utilizing its resilience, how you make it more and more neuroplastic.
Hmm. So, you spoke about sleep. So, I want to understand that because sleep is often the first thing people sacrifice. So, how important is restorative sleep for memory, focus, and long-term brain health?
Oh, that is, if one thing you ask me to peak for brain health, that is sleep. So sleep is the first thing people often sacrifice. I really agree with you, because nowadays in social life, like, it's been very much normalized with hustling. Hustling means sacrifice sleep, and hustling probably give you success. Okay, right? I'm not going there. But sleep is basically one most very important thing your brain needs. Okay, let me give you an example. When you go into those restorative sleep, like there is a system called glymphatic system, which actually work as like, washing away the debris from your brain. So it's basically a fluid, which when you go into this restorative sleep, when those sleep activation happen, so this actually removes all the debris, and there is certain specialized cell which called microglia. So what did happen, it's like one janitor system of your sleep of your brain. Let's say you go to a mall or something on the day, throughout the day there's a lot of debris deposits in the trash can. Once everything goes out, so there's the janitorial systems come, they just clean off everything, make it very prim and proper so that it smells fresh and very clean in the morning. This cells
True.
actually does that. Basically they are specialized, small cells which actually when you go to those deep sleep, they just clean everything, so the next day you become very active and all. Apart from this, there is one more function of sleep, deep restorative sleep, is that it organizes your memory. It's like once you go into this deep sleep, it kinds of restore it's like you put the files, you put the folders, and you know that okay, it is there, so whenever you need it to come back there. So it actually helps to build your long term memory, focus. Now, many a time, disruption, people who are having chronic sleep disorders, sleep apnea, restless sleeps, that very much directly related with your mild cognitive impairment, or which is a precursor of dementias, and which majorly increase the risk of dementia. So sleep is extremely, extremely important. Maintaining a sleep hygiene, proper 7 to 8 hours, restorative sleep is very, yeah.
So moving on to the next very important question, because when we were discussing about this webinar, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about neuro framework today. So I want to understand that what inspired this model and why is it such a practical way to think about brain health?
So neuro is actually it's an acronym which stands for N is for nutrition, E is for exercise, U is for unwind, R is for rest, and O is for optimize. So this is actually cumulatively a very easy way to adopt for your brain health, adopt for your longevity and aging. So new N is for nutrition. Nutrition is basically, you don't have to go to a superfood or something very exorbitant. No, one food will not change anything. It's always a dietary pattern. Your dietary pattern should have, all the brain healthy foods like your proteins, your lean meats, your fish, your legumes, your berries, your seeds, your healthy fats, your tofus, everything all together. Now, it sounds very cliched, but it's yes, it requires those rainbow things. Nutrition is extremely important. On top of that, if you would like to have anything, that's always there. But then again, exercise again, you both aerobic and anaerobic, absolutely okay, and you don't need to get any exuberant thing for that. Whenever you are doing any activities in the house time, like just do 3 small squats when you put your food in micro oven for heating it up. Whenever you get some time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of walking, 2 or 3 days a week of strength training, changes your stuff drastically. Then rest, I have really talked about sleep and all. So
Yeah.
sleep is extremely, extremely important. And then we have unwind. How, I mean, you is basically your unwind. Unwind is how you take care of your stress. Now, absolutely, if I ask somebody today, oh, you have to live a stress-free life, it's absolutely impossible. That's not possible because we live in an environment where
True.
there is, but I would probably ask you to reduce your bad stress. Now, reduce what is bad stress? You figure out which is things which you can control, which things you can control. Basically, just take a plain paper, write down things which you can control, write down things which you can't control. Which you can't control, just tear it off and throw apart. Now, put your effort on the things which you can control. Even those are stressful, but those are purposeful, those are time bound, those are well defined, and they will reduce. They probably over a period of time, you can overcome it. right? It's like I have a fear producing object in my, I see a tiger in my in my room. Probably I'll run, and after the tiger I'll probably run away, and my stress will go away. But if I constantly start thinking, oh, what if a tiger will come in my room, I will never be able to get away. I will always be alert, right? So that's the
Hmm.
difference between good stress and the bad stress. And
Hmm.
optimize is basically start making, taking some skill, learning, train your brain, social learning skills, complex activities, pick up any new hobbies which involve your brain, not just consume. Like you can read a book. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
okay, consumption is bad, but reading a book, after that, can rewrite a chapter, recite a chapter, say that, okay, if I would be the author, what would I write? Use your
Hmm.
brain. That is what optimization is all. That is what is neuro. It's basically your nutrition, your exercise, your rest, your unwind, cut down your stress, and optimize your brain with a lot of complex activities. Give it a chance.
I-
Like brain is a one cute kid standing in the corner and asking you, give me challenge, I will do it.
That's so true. Well, I think you have covered everything under neuro, but still, I think few people have also in the chat box have asked this question that if somebody wanted to improve their cognitive age starting now, what are the first few habits they should begin with?
First few habits is basically if they are in early 20s, I assume one thing is basically very predominant in their life is stress.
Hmm.
So if it is really stress, look out, and sleep habits is very important, because I could see a very lot of young kids, like people in their early and the mid 20s. One thing after their college life and all, one thing they generally compromise is their sleep. They really find that, okay, they can do a lot of thing if they
Yeah.
really wake up all nights. And but yeah, that's fine. But if you have done that, and if you're in your mid 20s, and if you are aware at this point of time to improve your brain health, very good. Take care of your stress, take care of your sleep.
Hmm.
One thing is possible for sleep. I always say, I mean, people, my clients always say me, I can't sleep at time. Okay, fine, you can't sleep at time, but make your waking time very constant. And the
Hmm.
wake, after waking up, the rituals, let's say you go out for a walk or you do some meditation, some rituals. And when one thing become very constant, slowly you will see that you will adjust your sleeping time also, because that becomes a habit. So that is one thing. Another thing is the stress. Take go for, I mean, figure out what are your stress. How can you take care of it? Figure out your, you want to go to therapy, you want to pick up, get into a community help, talk about it, normalize, talk to it. So that's
Hmm.
basically very important.
So on this note, I also have realized that since I'm the one who's in 20s and sacrificing sleep, I feel like a lot of time what we do is that we sleep at like 4, 4:30, but then we do sleep for a longer period of time. If like Saturday, Sunday, we're sleeping till 12 or 1, but the quality of sleep is not right. So, how much is that also? Because sometimes, even if you're sleeping for 12 hours, I don't know how many people are sleeping for 12 hours, the brain still feels fatigued, at least in my case. And I'm speaking from a very personal, space from here. So, the thing is that a lot of people who are sleeping or taking rest, even who are trying their best, my question is that still they feel fatigue, they feel brain fog. So I want to understand how much quantity over quality matters.
Absolutely, quality matters. I talked about restorative deep sleep when those bodily functions get activated, right?
Hmm.
Now, if you constantly have, if you have a, let's say, 12 hours of sleep, but every 2 hours you get up, you get up a notification, that's not sleep actually. You sleep with a mind that, okay, oh my God, okay, whatever, what is my boss saying? What is my friend saying? What happened to that? And all, no, that's not actually sleep. But
Yeah.
again, when you sleep 12 hours on the weekends and sleep 4 hours on the weeks, your brain is extremely confused.
Hmm.
So even if you're sleeping for 5 hours, 6 hours, even if you can't get, let's say, 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep, even you 6 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, make it a habit that you are actually building it a habit. So, body works very well when you give it a guardrail. Like when you say that I will do this, I'll get up at 6 o'clock, you will automatically see things happening. So, and obviously, We are diurnal, which means we are not nocturnal. Our body is not developed to wake up at night, right?
Yeah.
We have to maintain circadian rhythm. But having said that, does that mean that okay, sunset we will sleep? No, absolutely not. But yeah,
Hmm.
some amount of night sleep is required.
Hmm. Well, I think we have covered almost everything except the most important part. I believe that is nutrition. And I want to understand if someone wanted to follow a healthy aging plan specifically for mental health, what sort of nutrition, they should focus on.
It's nothing, I mean, nothing very elaborate they have to do. It's very very basic. Like you all of us know that there is so many talk about those in social medias and everywhere. But if
Hmm.
you really ask me, one thing which I've recently read in a research paper and which really stuck with me, which says that every day if you really take once, even older adults, basically that was a study gone into older adults. So basically they take, if they start taking one portion of green leafy vegetables every day, that reduce their chances of cognitive declination by 10%. So which actually means they are 11 years older, I mean younger than their sedentary peers and who doesn't take those leafy vegetables. So it's basically those Popeye syndrome, eat your spinach. But yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah,
since you, yeah, sorry, go
no,
on.
no, tell me.
No, no, I was saying, since you mentioned about leafy vegetables and all, I just wanted to understand because I think we all have heard that it's good for your brain if you have one almond or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so can you give us a few superfood for brain that we all should take?
Take your vegetables, all cruciferous vegetables like your broccolis, your cauliflowers, your cabbages, like your all your legumes, and also take complex carbohydrates. Like brain needs sugar, brain needs glucose.
Hmm.
So don't just devoid of all carbohydrates, but yeah, complex carbohydrates in moderation. Take your berries like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Take all your tofus, paneers, fish, and almonds, seeds, all these things in moderation, and build up a very healthy lifestyle. It's not that okay, today I eat and tomorrow I will chola bhature for 3 days and then 3 days I'm eating. Don't confuse your body. So yeah, make it a healthy habit. But healthy habit doesn't mean that okay, one day you will not cheat. But yes, but again, come back to that. Make it a habit. Once you start, make it a habit, that you will not feel it. You will really feel very accountable what you are feeding your body.
Hmm. Yes. So on that note, I think we have so much noise around longevity and with that also around supplements today. So if someone wanted a simple and realistic brain health stack, what basics would you prioritize first?
If you ask me, I will again start, emphasizing on sleep.
Hmm.
And once we start, because that is one thing I have seen most people are kind of, getting, it's very difficult for a lot of people. So basically, and for that, if you really would like to stack up, I would suggest magnesium, because it's very essential for brain cells. It improve your plasticity and memory, synaptic plasticity and memory. It helps some block overstimulated receptors in the brain, preventing a state called excitotoxicity, which neurons get fired in too much stimulations. So that makes it easier for your brain to learn, store, and retrieve memories instead of running in a very noisy and overexcited mode. So, and secondly, magnesium is also neuroprotective. Like magnesium helps in to maintain the integrity of the blood-brain barrier and reduces neuro inflammation, which is a major driver in neurodegenerative diseases. So it's gentle but powerful to shield your neuron. And it's also, thirdly, it supports your stress and sleep regulation. So if you really like to start up, one thing I regularly I would like to recommend for myself is magnesium.
Perfect. Well, On I think we have, when we were discussing about today's webinar, we have, I was also telling you about take, and you were also mentioning something about vitamins. So can you mention like how vitamin D and all the vitamins that are lacking in our body is connected to our neurobiology also?
Oh, vitamin B12 is very, very important for all our brain health. Vitamin D is very important for our mood. Vitamin D is very
Hmm.
important with energy. So it is directly related with your stress and anxiety levels. So vitamin D is very important because we generally don't get sunlight. We always, and we have a sedentary life. We set in a very curated and a very plastic environment. So vitamin D is very important. Vitamin B12 is very important. So if you ask me about vitamins for brain health, these two are very important.
Perfect. I think we have covered everything. So if I think this would be the last question, but if somebody had to leave this webinar right now with only the basics, so what are the core habits you would want them to follow from today's like today onwards for better long-term mental health and sharpening their age better?
Sleep. First of all, to you, I will check on you how well you are sleeping from now onwards.
I think after this webinar, everybody is taking up that sleep is the most important thing.
Oh, my job is done. If everybody at least take at least one person take one meaningful step towards fixing their sleep, I think my job will be done. And eat your vegetables and have a proper, at least one meal proper, like
Hmm.
try to at least plan your meal. And exercise is very important. Not exercise in the sense you don't have to do it every day, missing it. No, 3 days a week, even if you can't go somewhere, do it at home, something like that.
Hmm.
And start doing some complex activities for your brain.
Hmm.
Start learning up some new skills, maybe a new language, a new skills, like new instruments, where you are constantly, activating your brain. You are doing
Hmm.
dual activity, physical activity as well as mental activity. That's very important because that's how your neuroplasticity develops, that how your brain resilience develops. So that is something very important. Like, not only consume, make your brain work for you. So
Hmm.
that's constant. That's like if you're really going gymming and building up your muscles, so how your brain building up your brain muscles, making it constantly work.
Thank you so much, Gargi. So I think that was from my end, but the webinar is still open for everybody. So if you have any question, please put it on the chat box. Our team is going to look into the question and we will try to address as many questions as possible. Meanwhile, while they are thinking about their questions, I didn't wanted to ask you this question, but I feel like this is, when we talk about mental health, this is the most overused word, which is therapy. So I want you to say something about, like, we have discussed about nutrition, supplement, and sleep and recovery, everything. But how much therapy is making a difference in everybody's life, or if it's even important in the long run or not?
Therapy is absolutely very important. And therapy is also not because when I have a problem, therapy is also to understand yourself, like how you
Hmm.
react, how you interact with others, how you
Hmm.
take care of yourself, like your stress, your anxiety, I mean, many a time I see people who say that he does that, she does that. And when you
Yeah.
put it to outside people, you just lost your empowerment. Therapy help you to get your empowered self back. That's the beauty of therapy. And the therapy is all to know yourself more, and it is an extremely rewarding journey. It's very nice. Therapy is not always okay. I know people having anxiety, people having stress. That is very important. Therapeutic intervention is very much needed out there. Also, you go into a community help, even if you can't afford therapy. Let's say, if you, I mean, let's say you may not be find a therapist or something like that, develop a community where you are talking, like, those things, where you are normalizing talking about your mental health. So therapeutic
Hmm.
intervention and therapy is very, very important. Even you don't have to go every week. Let's say if you don't have, and once a month, take it as a, lifestyle. That's very important
Hmm.
because it's help you to know about yourself.
Okay, so I think we have received a lot of questions. So the first question I was thinking of taking is, since we did talk about dementia also. So Anurag Adhikari was mentioning this, that how to delay early Parkinson's and EPS symptoms.
Uh, it's again how to it's basically maintaining those brain health,
Hmm.
the brain health active I mean things. But there is a lot of things you actually have. If it is really already a symptoms, then probably you need to take a holistic approach of medication, lifestyle management, exercise, cognitive
Hmm.
rehabilitation therapy, a lot. So there is a holistic approach. There is not one such things, but you have to have a holistic approach of all your medication, lifestyle management, exercise support, and other activities together. Yeah.
Perfect. So Tara Pillai has asked this question, that what are the three most powerful brain exercises that we can do, if there is any?
Yeah. One is, mindfulness activity, monofocused, you know, engage in your focus. And I
Hmm.
don't know whether you know this about, and there is has been neuro imaging done on this monk, right? Those monks who just practice meditation and all those 10,000 hours
Yes.
of meditation actually make your brain a happy brain. So it has changed in your brain structure. We are not there, but yeah, we can actually
We
practice
can start
mindfulness.
somewhere.
Mindfulness, meditations, and this complex activity, dual activity. Let's say when you are
Hmm.
playing a guitar, let's say there
Hmm.
are a lot of areas of your brain activated. You are reading a note, so your linguistic ability. You are learning a note, you're putting it, so your motor activity. You are listening your songs, your emotions, limbic system. And every day you're increasing those challenges. Today you make three notes, tomorrow you make four notes. Today you are done
Yeah.
doing a dancing, let's say today you do three steps, tomorrow four steps. So these kind of complex activities are very important. And another one is not a sedentary lifestyle, exercise, maybe aerobic, anaerobic, whatever. So that are very
Hmm.
important, because your brain health is also related with your legs. Because
Hmm.
the more you walk, the more your legs pump up brain blood to your brain. And we have seen that many a time the old age injuries happen because of fall because your legs are getting injured. So if you really would
Hmm.
like to take care of your brain, take care of your legs also.
So a very interesting question has come up, which is, so since we are a community who are focused into physical health, so obviously these kind of questions I was expecting, but the question is that, we do everything right with neuroscience of aging, but your metabolism plus your gut health is not all good, or no, not addressed when needed. So how much impact will it make it to our brain?
The body is a very interconnected system. You can't deal with one thing in silo. So, whatever
Hmm.
we have talked about stress, so stress and anxiety directly affect your gut system, right? It
Hmm.
is flared up in your GI tract. So, it affect your metabolism. So, that has
Yeah.
an effect on health. So, if you take care of your one thing, like if you take care of your stress, obviously your GI tract will also get some amount of relief. Your metabolism will be better. So intertwined, your brain health will also be better. So it is not that, okay, I need to take care of my brain health because my gut health will go away. No, it is all a very synchronized system. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like if you smoke, obviously your lung is the first one will get affected, but obviously it has an
Yeah.
impact on your brain too. Yeah. So it's a very composite system.
Okay. One more question is that, does overthinking and mental stress accelerate aging?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
But how to control
Overthinking,
that? Because I think we
yeah,
all are guilty of that.
yeah, therapy helps there. It helps you how to learn the skill of right thinking, not over or not under thinking, and how to get master over your thinking.
Hmm.
Yes, overthinking is basically anxiety to some extent. It produces anxiety, it produces stress. It's basically magnifying certain things which may happen, may not happen. but ultimately you're putting your body to that alert mode. Now the beauty of the body is that, let's say, even overthinking is basically you are magnifying something which has not happened, but your brain thinks that may have that happen, so they switch on the alert mode. So your GI tract is on work, already body is in alert mode, so you are constantly overworking, so obviously it will age.
Hmm.
Now one thing to stop that is reduce your stress, figure out what you can cut down, make a
Hmm.
meaningful and purposeful life. I mean, make your life more purposeful. Purposeful mean basically invest your time, effort, and energy where you get something out of it, not in an
Yeah.
autopilot mode.
So I'm gonna talk about something that even you mentioned. So a few people have asked that physical exercise like strength training, yoga helps with mental health. But you like this is something that we already know. But can you tell us like how much impact it does and how little we can do to take care of our mental health also? Because not everybody can work out or do strength training every single day
Yeah,
rigorous day.
absolutely. I agree that everybody cannot do. Like, I'll probably tell you. Uh, I mean, I met other day a person who is an elderly person who is probably
Mm.
around 75 and all. So we were kind of saying him just stay. I mean, while watching your favorite show, just put two dumbbells and do all these things. Something that's okay. Like whenever you are going walking somewhere, at least you don't need to do three squats, five squats. You don't need to go 90-degree down. Just 60 degrees fine. You are watching TV, you are sitting in your couch. Just stand up after 30 minutes and do certain things. Physical exercise is very important because we are not supposed to live a sedentary life.
Mm.
That is what is in our genetics. We need to really work on, because of modern day evolution, we are here. But yes,
Yeah.
we need to incorporate that. Yes, absolutely. You may not have time to go there, but at least build up 20 minutes. You can build up yourself. I mean, walk,
Mm.
strength training. Put up something whenever you're watching your shows. Just put two dumbbells next to each other. Put those TheraBands next to each. I mean, next to your TV. Just do certain exercises and build it up. That's it. You just need to do it consistently. So your muscle knows. And once you build up the habit, you will love doing it. Trust me.
This one question I wanted to ask that we hear about dopamine a lot, right? So few people have asked the what's the role of dopamine regulation play in aging and cognitive decline?
It is a very important thing. Again, dopamine is constantly, make your brain keep alert. That constantly
Mm.
you are feeding it. Now, let's say
Yeah.
you feed something constantly. What will happen to it? Obviously, it will not
Yeah.
that, right? So
And when
you
it's
need.
not getting that dopamine rush, you also feel very
Ah,
depressed. I think that is
yeah.
something that's very
So
common.
that is a very vicious cycle. So yeah, you know what is that, how to handle that. So, and it's basically all lead to that. Your brain requires certain things, but it is taking it those hit if you are not providing it, but it is not visible. That's the challenge. So you'll have to do it very consciously.
So few people has asked about screen time effect, like how much screen time affect our sleeping order and in turn our mental health and aging as well.
Yeah, screen time always has an effect because it depends upon if you are constantly watching something which is constantly different topics. You are shifting from topics to topics, so you are
Mm.
constantly depleting your focus, so you are
Mm.
training your brain not to focus,
Yeah.
so you can't focus then. So again, screen time is maybe you probably watch a 20-minute show or a 15-minute show and then
Mm.
take a break and come back. That's fine. But
Mm.
again, don't mingle it with, or don't kind of hamper it with your sleep time. Don't scroll and sleep,
Mm.
don't watch something and sleep. And so that is basically not very advisable. Screen time is fine, I can't say that you can't I mean, that's fine, you need to have it, but have it very mindfully, more consciously, and not to intervene it with your sleep. your sleep time. Maintain a sleep hygiene, at least not to do scrolling during sleeping, or at
Hmm.
least not to have a screen time 20 minutes before your sleep and all this thing. That's it. Very, very easy thing. No rocket science, nothing, no elaborate system.
Correct. So Gargi, even so, this is something that I just realized, and I wanted to ask you that, you know how like nowadays shows are also made based on like it doesn't have to be that dark; it needs to be in the background. A lot of shows are being made like that. We can't work without listening to music. We can't work without watching a show or a series or a match or some people news as well at the background. So your brain is working on 10 different things, and that's how we have rewired our brain, most of the people, right? Most of the shorts are for like 30 seconds because we don't have the bandwidth to watch long form content anymore. So is it also somewhat of like, are we aging our brain and body while doing practicing this? Because I think everybody's practicing this.
Uh, it's at the same time, yes, and also no, because it depends upon, let's say you are doing some constantly brain engaging activity, right? Let's say
Hmm.
you are dancing and you are counting your steps. So you are
Okay.
utilizing your brain. But let's say there
Hmm.
are 10 tabs open in your brain. You are doing a very difficult maths and actually listen to a podcast. That you can't do,
Hmm. Yeah.
because so that is what I wanted to mean, like okay, maybe you are utilizing your brain doing a monofocus where your brain thinks required, but where the focus required in two tasks simultaneously, that may not work.
Hmm.
So let's say when you do like this is open, that is open, so and to be, and it's also researchically proven that your brain can't multitask. It's a very monofocused activity it requires. So you need to figure out what is that where you would like to put your focus on.
So I think we are at the end of today's webinar. So I want to ask the last question, which is, can you tell us something about how to lower our cortisol levels, and as we are cognitively active all the time?
Um, Cortisol level is basically your stress hormone. So reduce your stress. So again, I'd have said that figure out what are the stress you would like to intentionally reduce. Reduce your stress
Hmm.
is a very general umbrella term. I know people will get very angry on me when I say that reduce your stress, and they said, "Oh, how do I?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Intentionally reduce certain stress which you can't do anything about. Let's say if I really stress about why there is a Bangalore traffic, what can I do about it? Nothing. Yeah, obviously, if I have to go in time to my work, I would like to get up early in the morning, or I'll
Yeah.
ask my cook to come early. So that ways, intentionally reducing your stress. Or if it is very much there, like you can't do it by yourself, take help of your therapist, talk to somebody, get help, seek out support. Like stress management requires us community support because it is very systematic. It's very system induced also. Because if there's a lot of stressor in your system, you can't do it. You require a support. So it is not a
Hmm.
luxury. I agree. So it
Hmm.
require a very holistic approach. Maybe you need to go to therapy. You need to take out system support. You need to seek out help. Lot.
Hmm. Lovely. Thank you so much, Gary. What a beautiful session it was. I think for myself also, I have got to learn so much from this webinar. And we are at the end of today's webinar. And as you mentioned about community and helping each other out, I want to mention to everybody in this call that Decode Age always had a community of doctors, nutritionists, and they have helped each other out with research and everything. Now we are also focusing on mental health and how it's connected to longevity. So we will be having a group of that, like-minded people, people like Gargi, who will be talking about mental health in the group and helping each other out.
Lovely.
So
I would love
uh,
to do that.
so all the links are in the chat box. Please join the community and have any question, put it there. Also, I want to mention that today's after today's session, this is recorded. It will be uploaded in our YouTube. So if you have any, you know, some parts you have missed out or you have joined late, you can go and check there as well. Lastly, I want to mention that Gargi and I got the chance to work closely on this webinar, and we have curated specifically for you a supplement stack, and you need to like, I would say, like, focus on your inbox, and you will be getting, after this call we will try to share all the information over there about the supplement stack, about the links, everything that you have used to register this register for this webinar, you will receive over there. So I think, Gargi, we have reached the end of this webinar. I'm so excited. I was so excited to work with you, and I'm so happy that I got the
Same here.
chance to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's lovely. And I really see that question. It was so insightful. I really thank all the audience. It's such a participative team. So I was really looking
Yeah,
forward to work with you all closely. That's really wonderful. Even if we make a
lovely.
one person change, and that's how we cumulative effect happen. And yeah, community support is very important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Gargi. Thank you, everybody who has joined today's call. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bhumika. And thanks, Decode Age, a lot. Thanks for
Yeah.
organizing this. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.